It's a new year, and with it comes new hopes for 2026. But as it turns out, many Canadians aren't exactly optimistic about the coming year. Joining us now is Sebastien Dallaire from Léger Marketing. Hi, Sebastien.
Hello, how are you?
So, according to your polling, I'm doing well, but about 2/3 of Canadians aren't feeling good about the year to come. Why is that?
Well, I think it's been for Canadians feels like it's been a rough stretch that keeps on coming again and again and again, year after year. When we compare where we were in 2020, 2021, 2022, it feels like it's a bit of Groundhog Day where each year brings some negative news that tend to make us less optimistic than we were way back when, it feels. So obviously this year was marked by the arrival of Donald Trump. We have some international conflicts that have kept going. So while inflation got a bit better, cost of housing is still high. So there are a lot of mixed feelings, and Canadians are careful as they look ahead.
Well, it hasn't even been a year since Trump was inaugurated. Does that mean 3 more years of pessimism to come?
When we look at how Canadians, feel when they look ahead to next year, we feel like they want to be hopeful, but at the same time, Trump is still going to be there in 2026. Canadians know trade negotiations are underway. There's no sign that the conflict in Europe is going to end anytime soon. News from the Middle East is not that great either, a little bit better than it was. But a lot of the key issues are lingering, and that seems to be hurting the way people feel right now.
So you're saying it's not a blip. Essentially, it's kind of a long-term trend of this pessimism.
Yeah, we're in a bit of what we can call a moment of polycrisis, where it seems like a lot of different crises have piled onto one another. And while there have been some good news in the mix, and when people actually reflect on how they feel personally, they feel a bit better about their lives. They feel a bit better about how their family is doing, generally speaking. But it's when they look outside the window at the world at large, that the feeling is that the world's not doing very well, that Canada's not doing very well, but themselves, they're a bit better. So there is cause for some optimism, but it's really cautious.
So how can people then translate that slight optimism they have about themselves? And then when you look at the world and see, well, maybe things aren't going so well, is there a way to translate that what's going on in the personal life to maybe have a better outlook on the world?
Well, we can hope that over time, as Canadians realize that, you know what, the floor hasn't completely disappeared from under our feet, and there are some positive things around, and we are doing relatively well. Maybe the mood is going to shift, and over time, we get a bit tired of feeling down. So there's resiliency kicking in, but resiliency has been is a word that we've been using a lot since 2020. And so Canadians are a little bit tired, and they're just hoping things are going to be different. But there are cause for optimism for sure. It's just it's a bit harder to see right now.
I was about to say, I do want some good notes in this interview, considering we're talking about optimism. Are there any silver linings? Is there anything in 2026 that people are saying, yes, I'm looking forward to it, or yes, I'm feeling good about the way things are going?
Mm-hmm. Some of the words that came out when we asked people, can you describe how the past year was in one word? Aside from the more negative ones that came up, there is this sense of rebuilding, renewal that has been coming through all the noise. And again, it speaks to the fact that maybe Canadians are starting to realize that, you know what, we're stronger than we think. And we know, for one thing, when we look at a macro level, Canada's economy has been doing better than expected. And as this continues, hopefully in the next few months, this will likely translate in better mood and this idea that, we're creating something new, we're building something new, and maybe we can get out of this funk that we've been feeling collectively. So that's where I think the hope can certainly come from.
All right, we always have to find a silver lining. Sebastien, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you can find a way to have a happy new year. Thank you.
You too, and same to you and all your viewers.